Welcome to How to Pay the Rent with Your Camera this month. This is the first volume in a 3-volume series, and I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to give you a look inside or behind the curtain, and we're going to cover chapter number 1. So how to pay the rent with your camera this month. Bunch of legal notices, table of contents. As you can see, I have 16 chapters in this book, and they're laid out here. Various ideas for making money quickly. Each of these ideas could make you as much as $1,000 a day. There's an introduction, kind of an interesting question there. Tells you how this book came to be. Basically what I did was I sent out a question to all the photographers I could find online, and I asked them if they'd be interested in taking part in a book project teaching beginning photographers how to get started making money in photography. I sent the question, if you were to be dropped into an area where you knew no one, and no one knew you, but you still had your photo equipment, how would you pay the rent this month? Surprisingly, no one would participate. I sent out hundreds of these things and only got back just a few. And I got to thinking why, and here's the answer I came up with. It's so easy to make money in photography that they didn't want to create competition for themselves. They were afraid. So keep that in mind as you're sitting there. I know we as artists tend to agonize over our abilities and whether or not we're good enough and all that. Take my word for it, you are good enough. The key to making money in photography is to be competent with your photos and then know how to market them. So, chapter 1. If you were to be dropped into an area where you knew no one and no one knew you, but you still had your photo equipment, how would you make the rent this month? This is the restaurant shoot. This is my personal entry into this book. It's my favorite way of making money quickly. I've done this every year at Easter and Mother's Day for like 15, 16 years now, and I have never yet failed to make under $1,000 every time I do this. Now this can be done on a normal weekday or Sunday I should say, but you won't make quite as much money as you would on a holiday, but it can be done any week of any year. Here's what you do. You find a fancy restaurant in town and you go in there and you say, hey, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take pictures of your guests having brunch on Sunday. Now I do this for Easter, so I would say I would take your pictures of your guests having brunch on Easter Sunday. They're all dressed up and fancy and the family's there, so it's a good deal for them. And I won't charge you anything. I'll give them a free mini portrait as a gift from the restaurant with no further obligation to buy anything. Okay, now this book is about making money in photography. That doesn't sound like you're making anything so far. But what you do is you go in there and you set up. Now the best day I ever had, I did 65 families. Now of those 65 families, virtually all of the ones that I contacted the next week, what you do is you give them a call and you contact them next week and set up a time to come by and show them the pictures. You give them a free one as a gift from the restaurant, so they get their bonus, their reputation boosted that way, and the people get the gift and everything is up and up. There is no obligation. If they don't want to buy any further, they don't have to, but they all want to, because all of the people in the picture are going to want a copy of that picture. It's a memorable day and you're only giving them one, so you will make a ton of money selling 8x10s, 5x7s, 4x6s. Every year I've got families that buy big canvas bonded wall portraits from me. Those alone sell for over $1,000. I'm just kind of skimming through this. We don't really have much time on a YouTube video to go through this. But this is chapter 1. It lays out the whole thing, exactly how to approach them and what kind of little invitation that the hostess in the restaurant would give out to the people. Here's the copy on the front of the envelope, and then the copy on the inside of the envelope and all that, and then they just come back and get their free picture, and then you contact them and make a ton of money. And so with that, I'm going to end this. Go on over to www.parttime.photography.com/onetest.html, and I'll put a link down below here. And check this out. I think you're going to like it. And that's just one of 16 ways to make over $1,000 a day just getting started. And as you'll notice, I didn't show people any pictures or anything or talk them into anything. I just set up my equipment and let the hostess bring them to me. It's easy to do. Anybody can do this. You don't have to have any contacts, or it's not who you know or any of that kind of stuff. You can just start making a lot of money right away. So I'm going to end this here and go on over and check out the rest of the ebook. I think you're going to like this a lot.